If you're hearing this, it's not by accident. Something ancient and powerful is moving through your timeline, and it's calling your name, Scorpio. Take a moment, close your eyes just for a heartbeat, and listen. Can you feel it? That subtle vibration beneath the surface of your life. It's not just coincidence. It's not just restlessness. It's the quiet hum of destiny echoing from the corners of the cosmos, reaching for the most resilient sign in the zodiac, you Scorpio. There's a reason you found this message today, not because you're curious, but because your soul has been sensing it. The shifts, the symbols, the synchronicities, repeating numbers, dreams that feel too vivid to ignore, people exiting your life without explanation, a strange weight in your chest every time you try to plan your future, as if something bigger than you is already preparing the next chapter. And it is. 2025 is not just a year. It's a sacred turning point, a crossroad written into your karmic DNA long before you were born. It's a gate, no 3 gates. One will unlock your hidden abundance, one will burn the old version of you to ash, and one will bring a love so ancient, so divine, it feels like home. But here's the truth no one dares to say. Transformation doesn't begin when things are easy. It begins when everything feels uncertain. It begins right now. Because this journey isn't just about astrology. It's not just about predictions or planetary movements. This is about your becoming, about who you were always meant to be. Once the masks fall, once the grief softens, once the fire has done its sacred work. You've survived enough, Scorpio. You've carried the weight of silence, betrayal, and buried dreams long enough. Now, the universe is calling you to do something far more radical, to thrive. But make no mistake, to walk through these 3 gates is to be reborn. It will require more honesty than you've ever dared to give yourself. It will demand trust, not in others, but in your own readiness. And it will awaken something in you that even you forgot you possessed. So if your pulse is quickening, if your spirit feels like it's leaning in closer, good. That means your soul remembers. Because this isn't just a video, this is a map back to your power. Now, Scorpio, are you ready to walk through the first gate with me? Part 1, the golden gate where abundance meets the soul. Imagine standing before a gate, but not just any gate. This one shimmers with a golden magnetic glow. It doesn't swing open with ease. It doesn't respond to ambition or even desire. It opens to truth, to readiness. This is the Golden Gate of 2025, the first of the 3 transformations awaiting you, and it holds within it a truth that few dare to speak. Abundance is not about money, it's about power and what you do when you finally have it. Scorpio, you didn't come into this life to chase wealth like others do. You came to learn how to wield it, how to hold power in your hands without being consumed by it. Because power has never been just external for you. It has always lived in the dark corners of your psyche. It was built during the nights you cried alone and no one knew. It was sharpened in the silence after betrayal when you had no one left to lean on but yourself. And yet you survived. But survival is not the end of the story. 2025 is not handing you a reward, it's handing you a mirror. It's saying, you've proven you can endure the fire. Now let's see what you build with the ashes. This is the paradox. You've wanted abundance but also feared it. You've dreamed of financial freedom but whispered to yourself, what if they only love me for what I have? What if money changes me? What if receiving means losing? Let's stop here and be honest. How many times have you turned down something good, not because it wasn't meant for you, but because you didn't believe you were allowed to keep it? That fear didn't come from nowhere. It was carved into your soul through past lives, generational memory, and heartbreaks in this life that taught you when something good arrives, pain follows close behind. But the universe doesn't operate on fear. It responds to vibration. And Scorpio, your vibration is changing. You are stepping into a timeline where your inner worth finally matches what the world reflects back at you. But that reflection will test you. Story. A real Scorpio who faced the test of power. Let me tell you a story. In 2008, a woman named Elena, a Scorpio, born in late October, inherited a six-figure insurance payout after the sudden death of her father. She had never had more than $800 to her name. Suddenly, banks called her ma'am, family came out of nowhere, and strangers smiled just a bit too wide. And here's the thing, it terrified her. Not the money, the attention, the expectations, the pressure to prove she deserved it. So, what did she do? She gave most of it away, bought people things, let herself get used, because deep down she didn't believe she had the right to keep what she didn't earn in pain. Until one day her therapist asked her, what if this money isn't a reward, but a doorway? That was her golden gate. Elena turned inward. She used the last of her money not to escape, but to build. She started a coaching platform for women recovering from emotional trauma. And within 2 years, she was making more than her original inheritance, every dollar earned from her soul's truth. 2025. Is your gateway Scorpio in 2025? You are Elena, but on a much grander cosmic scale. Whether it comes as an opportunity, an inheritance, a business breakthrough, or a wild stroke of luck, this is not about income. It's about alignment. The question is not, will I get rich? It's, will I be ready when wealth meets me? And here's what most won't say. Money is going to ask you to be seen, to stop hiding your brilliance, to stop minimizing your gifts. And that is terrifying for a Scorpio, because your instinct is protection, your history is survival, your legacy is transformation. The sacred test. The Golden Gate will not open just because you wish it. It opens when you declare, I am no longer afraid of my own power. That means letting go of the stories like, I must do it alone. I can't trust anyone with my success. If I rise, they'll try to take it. That means opening not just your bank account, but your heart. Because the universe isn't sending you wealth, it's sending you tools. Tools to build your sanctuary. Tools to rewrite your family's financial trauma. Tools to lead, not just heal. This is the moment where the warrior becomes the ruler, where the survivor becomes the sovereign. Life lesson. Abundance is not the reward, it's the invitation. When true wealth knocks on your door, you'll know it's not because you begged for it. It's because you became the version of yourself that could hold it. So, I ask you now, Scorpio, if the door opened tomorrow, would you walk through it? And if not, what belief still whispers that you are not ready? Breathe into that question, because once you answer it honestly, the Golden Gate will open, and you will never be the same. Fade to black. Next, part 2, the sacred farewell, burying the old self. Part 2, the sacred farewell, burying the old self. There comes a moment in every Scorpio's life when silence speaks louder than words. When the universe stops whispering and instead begins removing, people leave, patterns collapse, and the person you once were no longer fits. You see, before a new version of you can rise, the old one must die. And that death is not symbolic, it is sacred. This Scorpio is the second gate of 2025, the funeral, but not the kind draped in black veils and mourning music. This is the burial of your survival identity, the version of you that was built in fear, guarded by pain, and shaped by betrayal. It is time to bury the one who kept you alive but cannot take you where you're destined to go. Let's pause here. How do you know this version of you is ready to be laid to rest? Here are the signs. You're exhausted, but not from doing too much. You're tired from holding up armor that no longer protects you. You feel restless, not because you're stuck, but because your soul is knocking at the door asking to evolve. You feel a strange grief, even when nothing seems wrong. That's the old self, loosening its grip. This is what transformation truly looks like for Scorpio. Not sudden, not dramatic, but undeniable. Because as a Scorpio, you don't just go through change, you become the change. The funeral gate is here to ask you one question. What part of you are you still keeping alive that was only meant to help you survive the war? Maybe it's the version of you that doesn't trust anyone, even when love is genuine. Maybe it's the one who controls every detail because chaos once nearly destroyed your world. Or maybe it's the one who still believes they are not worthy of peace because peace feels unfamiliar. But Scorpio hears the truth. That version of you served its purpose. It fought, it endured, it protected. It deserves not rejection, but gratitude, and then a proper farewell. Because if you don't bury it, you'll build your future around your past, and that is not your destiny. Let me take you to a sacred story. One you may not find in books, but one that plays out in the soul of every true Scorpio. There once was a healer in Arizona, a Scorpio named Marcus. After years of childhood abuse, betrayal in love, and losing his brother in a tragic accident, he built a persona. Strong, quiet, successful, but unreachable. He used his pain to help others, but never allowed anyone to help him. Until one day, during a silent retreat in Sedona, he sat before a fire pit and wrote a letter to his younger self, the one who was terrified every time someone got too close, the one who believed love always came with loss. And in that moment, he burned the letter and whispered, "Thank you for keeping me alive, but now I want to live." That fire wasn't just smoke and ash, it was the death of a survivor and the beginning of a sovereign. Scorpio 2025 is calling you to your own fire, to write your own letter, to speak to your pain not with resentment, but with reverence. Ask yourself, what are you ready to forgive? Who are you ready to release? And most importantly, what version of you must die so the next one can live? This won't be easy. Transformation rarely is, but it will be clean, pure, and undeniable. You don't need to broadcast this funeral. It's not for the world to see. It's between you and the universe, between you and your soul. This sacred letting go is your true rebirth. And when it is done, when the old you is laid to rest with compassion and truth, you will feel something you may have forgotten: lightness, hope, space for something new. Because the ashes of the old self are the soil from which your new life will grow. And in that soil, a seed of something extraordinary is already waiting. A love you never imagined, a union your soul remembers. And that, Scorpio, brings us to the final gate, the one you've secretly longed for but have been too guarded to fully receive. Next, we walk through the soul wedding, a meeting not of bodies, but of two destinies, finally ready to merge. Are you ready? Life Lesson, Part 2. The sacred farewell. Survival is not your final form. It's just the bridge that carried you here. There comes a time in every soul's evolution where holding on is no longer strength, letting go is. Scorpio, you were never weak for building walls. You did what was necessary. You endured what would have destroyed others. But the lesson of this gate is simple and profound. You don't have to fight to be free anymore. Real freedom doesn't come from resisting pain. It comes from making peace with your past. And that peace is born the moment you say, I honor who I've been, but I no longer need to be that person to feel safe. That is the sacred farewell. Not a death, but a rebirth. Not an ending, but an opening. So if you feel the tremble of change in your bones, if you feel like everything you once clung to is slipping away, don't fear it. Because the version of you that's dying was never your final form. It was just the chrysalis. The phoenix is coming. Part 3, the soul wedding. A love beyond this world. Not every love is meant to last. Some come to awaken, some come to break. But once in a lifetime, one arrives to complete the circle. Scorpio, if you've ever wondered why love feels so complicated, so heavy, so piercing for you, it's not because you're broken. It's because you love with your entire soul. And that kind of depth, it demands a mirror strong enough to reflect you back to yourself. This is the third gate, the soul wedding. Not a wedding of paper or ceremony, but of energies of two sovereign beings finally meeting at the same frequency. And it cannot come until you've walked through the first two gates, until you've claimed your power, until you've buried the mask. Only then can love reach you as you were always meant to be loved. Because Scorpio, this isn't another heartbreak, this is home. And yet, it might not arrive the way you expect. It might show up as silence in a crowded room, a glance that feels ancient, a stranger who speaks your language not just with words, but with energy, with presence, with knowing. You'll know it not because of butterflies, but because of peace. You'll feel something in their eyes that says, "I've seen you. In dreams, I forgot how to remember." This love won't chase you. It won't confuse you. It won't hurt you just to see if you'll stay. Because this love has already walked through its own fires, just like you. It's a meeting of equals. A king meeting his queen. An empress recognizing her emperor. A soul calling home another soul it's waited lifetimes to find. Let me take you to a real moment. In Oregon in 2016, a Scorpio named Naomi met a man in a bookstore. There was nothing particularly flashy about him, no wild sparks, no instant fireworks. But when their hands brushed, she felt a silence she hadn't felt in 10 years, a silence without fear. As they spoke, she realized he wasn't trying to impress her. He was listening deeply, holding her words like precious stones. 3 years later, they were married in the forest where they first hiked. Not because life had been perfect, but because they'd become partners in truth. And Naomi said, "It was the first time I didn't feel like I was too much. I was exactly enough." Scorpio, that is what's being prepared for you. Not a person to complete you, but someone who meets you. Not a soulmate who saves you, but one who builds with you. And that is the test. Can you receive that kind of love without running from it? Because here's the truth you might not want to hear. You've asked for a deep, powerful, spiritual love, but you've also guarded your heart with barbed wire. You've tested those who tried to get close. You've made them earn your softness even when they came with gentleness. And it's not your fault. You've been through hell. You've been abandoned, betrayed, used. You learned that letting someone in could mean breaking apart again. But Scorpio, this is not that kind of love. This person, they don't come to fix you. They don't come to drain you. They come to witness you, to sit with your silence, to stand in your shadows, to love the parts of you you've been taught were unlovable. And more than anything, they will not ask you to shrink. They will stand in the fire with you. Because finally, the timing is right. The inner union has been completed, the wedding within your shadow and light have learned to coexist. And now the outer mirror can arrive. In 2025, Neptune, the planet of spiritual love, aligns with your chart in a rare, gentle flow. It's creating pathways for sacred love to reach you, not because you're seeking it, but because you've become it. This is not about pursuit, this is about resonance. And that is the highest form of love a Scorpio can experience. Life Lesson. Part 3. The Soul Wedding. The love you've been looking for has been trying to find the healed version of you. Scorpio, you are not too much. Your intensity is not a curse, it is a filter. It keeps away what's not real so that when the real thing comes, you can finally say yes. But in order to receive this love, you must first believe that you deserve it. Not because you've been loyal, not because you've suffered, but because you are ready. And that readiness begins the moment you stop hiding. The moment you say, "I don't need to prove my worth anymore. I am worthy." That is the soul wedding. The union of self-worth and divine timing. The marriage of your healed heart to a love that doesn't want to fix you but to walk beside you. So when this soul arrives, don't close the door. Open it. Let them in. And more importantly, let yourself be seen. Because this time, you won't be burned. This time, you'll finally be held. Conclusion. The rebirth and integration. Now that you've walked through all 3 gates, you may be wondering, What was this all really about? It was never just about money. It was never just about loss. It was never just about love. It was about you, the real you, the one buried under survival, the one hidden behind years of overthinking, overgiving, overprotecting, the one the universe has been quietly calling back, not to change, but to become. Scorpio, do you see it now? The abundance was not just a gift, it was a test of your readiness. The funeral was not an ending, it was the liberation of your spirit. And the wedding was not about finding someone else, it was about becoming someone who could finally receive what's always been meant for you. This is the alchemy of your 2025. You aren't stepping into a new life, you're returning to your destiny. One choice, one truth, one sacred gate at a time. You are no longer surviving. You are no longer waiting. You are no longer hiding your power just to make others feel comfortable. You are remembering that you were born for this. Born to rise, born to transform, born to lead others out of the darkness because you mastered it first. And now, you are not the same. You are sovereign, you are magnetic, you are ready. Because this is the Scorpio path to walk through fire, to bury the mask, to open the heart again and to emerge not burned, but reborn. Final life lesson, integration. Every gate was always within you. You were not waiting for destiny, you were becoming it. If this message stirred something deep within you, I invite you to take one final sacred step. Subscribe to the path to Buddha wisdom. Not just to follow a channel, but to return to a place where your transformation is honored, where your silence is understood, where your Scorpio soul is seen week after week. This is your sanctuary. Your soul has waited lifetimes to come into this kind of alignment. Let's not walk it alone anymore. So subscribe, share this message with another soul that needs it, and in the comments write, I'm walking through the gate and I'm ready. Because here at the Path to Buddha Wisdom, you're not just a subscriber, you're part of a sacred remembering, and we're just getting started.